India, the world's third-largest energy consumer, is increasing the amount of crude oil it purchases from the U.S. in the context of Western sanctions continuing to tighten Russia's oil production industry. Bloomberg News Agency recently said that Indian oil refineries are on track to order more U.S. crude oil. The reason is because the West more strictly enforces sanctions against Russia's oil industry, hindering trade with Russia and forcing oil processors to look for supplies elsewhere. This month, two Indian state-owned oil companies, Bharat Petroleum Corporation and Indian Oil Corporation, along with private oil producer Reliance Industries Limited, bought a total of 7 million barrels of U.S. crude for April delivery. According to crude oil data tracking company Crude, this is the largest monthly volume of oil purchased since May last year. According to Indian traders, most of the crude oil the U.S. bought this month was WTI Midland crude. The cost of transporting this type of goods is more expensive than oil purchased from the Middle East. However, Russia's Sokol oil, a competitor that can compete with WTI Midland, is heavily affected by sanctions. An official of an Indian petrochemical company said WTI Midland can produce more gasoline and diesel, in the context that fuel demand in India is expected to increase in the coming months to serve the growing season. Elections in the country, increased electricity generation and crop harvests. Other Russian crudes, including Urals, sold from ports in the west of the country, are also affected by stricter sanctions enforcement. Two tankers carrying this type of oil have been idle off the Indian coast for weeks now. Russian crude oil flows to Indian ports have skyrocketed since the outbreak of the conflict in Ukraine, with the advantage of high discounts. Crude data shows that the amount of Russian crude oil that India bought in February was about 40 million barrels, accounting for 30% of India's total imported oil and condensate production. For the whole of 2023, on average, Russian oil accounts for 39% of the market share in India. U.S. crude oil used to account for 10% of imports in India's market of 1.4 billion people in 2021. However, this commodity then decreased to 4% of the market share in the past 2 years, when Russian oil was imported. Export in large volumes.